I mean, this whole sort of like, they call it like Trump Derangement Syndrome. Yeah. And I didn't, you don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and it was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally. And then I happened to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before, I happened to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies, okay? And they're like, wow! And I'm like, what is wrong? Guys, like, you can't have like a normal conversation. Yeah. And it's like they become completely irrational.
That's Elon Musk in an exclusive interview with Sean Hannity and Fox News. You're going to see the full interview tonight, talking about his personal experience with so-called Trump Derangement Syndrome, saying he can't even have a rational conversation when Trump's name comes up without setting off liberals. Again, it airs tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You won't want to miss it. Let's get right to America. Majority CEO Ned Ryun. Ned, what do you think of Elon Musk explaining this? Is this going to go away, or is it incurable?
I think for some it's an incurable disease, Liz. I don't know what the percentage is, but I think there are people that quite frankly, have become deeply irrational in the face of Donald Trump, who quite frankly I think is going to go down as one of the greatest presidents in American history, especially if he is successful with DOJ and then unmaking the administrative state and restoring representative government in this country. So, but you're never going to get through to these people. There's a complete detachment from reality. There's a complete detachment from rational thought when Donald Trump is mentioned to them. And quite frankly, I don't think it's an insignificant percentage. We shouldn't worry about it. The majority of the American people, clearly the polls have shown it. Donald Trump's as popular as he's ever been, and his policies, more importantly, Liz, are extremely popular with the American people.
Yeah, and the polls show that. It's mystifying why Democrats are protesting in the streets, holding press conferences. They never held press conferences when aid money ran out for the victims of Hurricane Helene and Milton, right, or the victims for the LA fires, or the 13 troops killed in the botched exit out of Afghanistan. You never saw press conferences on that, or the people murdered, raped, and killed and assaulted in the border crisis Biden ignited. I mean, Trump is erasing Biden's spending bureaucracy. We're finding, Ned, tens of billions of dollars in what watchdogs are calling slush funds that Biden set up in both climate change and the border crisis. This infrastructure he talked about was really an architecture of spending bureaucracy where tens of billions of dollars flew out the door for his policies that hurt America.
The amazing part to me is Democrats are leaderless. They have no winning ideas, and we find them in the streets protesting on behalf of these, I would argue, lawless bureaucrats with their out-of-control corrupt spending. That's what they've been reduced to. Liz, I think the $4.7 trillion that had no coding next to it that went out of the Treasury, that's about 13% of our entire national debt. I think DOJ is just getting started. I think when the full story is actually told, you're going to have a compelling narrative as to why we should undo the system of government that has led to this egregious spending.
Yeah, and it's a Democrat-run government. Democrats dominate the majority of federal agencies. Full stop. Ned Ryun, thank you for helping us out tonight. It's good to see you.